Hello everyone and welcome to my review for Kengan Omega Chapter 81. Normally I wait until the translations that we get on Thursdays to record my reviews, but this chapter is so fucking important that I couldn't wait. So I'm working with the translations from Shadow King Requiem in the Reddit comments, so be sure to go over into the Reddit thread for the Chapter 81 Raws and upvote his comment. Show him thanks for translating this chapter as soon as it comes out, basically. It's a big help. So, we have the start of the 5th round, I guess, and the reveal of the next fighters, those being Naidan and Ryuki. Now, this is a big surprise, because before the tournament even started, the Tiger's Vessel said, I'm going to fight Gao Ryuki, because I'm the Tiger's Vessel, and Gao Ryuki is like the last person that uses the Gao style, supposedly. So why is Naidan fighting Ryuki? Well, because he goes out there and he flexes. He does that thing, where you, flex your muscles and it makes a tattoo move or whatever. And the fucking worm tattoo shows up. And Gao doesn't need to hear anything else to go out there and fucking fight him. So, I guess Naidan is the Tiger's Vessel? Maybe? So, if he is, this is completely fucking insane. I never so much as suspected that he was even part of the Worm. I know basically nobody thought he was part of the Worm. We had so many other characters that seemed much more likely with Lu Tian and La Banner and Dongchen. Dongchen, I think, is still a possibility, which I'll get into in a minute. But this is just a complete 180 out of fucking nowhere. This is a neck-breaking twist, let me tell you. So, a few other things that I should probably talk about before I get into my predictions for the match. First of which is Dongchen. Dongchen and Naidan seem to have the most fleshed out relationship out of any of the other Purgatory fighters, save maybe Lolong and Tarashi. And theirs isn't even really fleshed out. Honestly, none of them are really that fleshed out. But they seem to interact with each other more than anyone else, save maybe Lolong and Tarashi. And Dongchen is saying that he'll go up, and Naidan gets in the way. And Dongchen says, what, you're going to go up after that embarrassment, referring to Yumigahama getting his ass kicked? And he says that they need to save his turn for when it really counts, and he just ignores him and goes out anyway. So, there are multiple things that we can take from this. The first is that they are both part of the Worm, and that Dongchen knows Naidan is the Tiger's Vessel. So he's like, hey, you can't be going out this early. We gotta wait. The second alternative, which, they could still apply either way, is that Naidan is one of the top tiers of Purgatory, and that, like with Agito, with what Gao Lang said before the first round, is that they need to wait until it's a pivotal moment where they need a win, absolutely. They can't afford to lose, to send up someone as strong as Naidan. That's another possibility. Now, speaking of who is the strongest, according to Misasa, Yumigahama has 9 wins and 5 losses under Purgatory. Which means, in theory, that there are 5 people in Purgatory that are stronger than Yumigahama. So Yumigahama's not even as good as I thought he was. Apparently not even as good as the Kengan fighters thought he was. Or at least, the other people in Purgatory are better than we thought. Now, as someone brings up, as Masaki brings up, just because he was beaten doesn't necessarily mean his opponent was stronger than him, as we saw with Gao Lang. So, it's very possible Yumigahama may have lost earlier on after him coming to Purgatory because he wasn't used to the rules. That's a possibility. But who do I think could be these 5 people that beat Yumigahama? Well, let's get the easy ones out of the way first. Obviously, Lolong, possibly Naidan, because with the way they talked about Naidan in this chapter, I think he is definitely in the top 5 for Purgatory. He seems to be someone that Dong Cheng is familiar with, and Dong Cheng seems to be one of the veterans in Purgatory, what with the way he talked about Alan Wu. So he's in there. I'm thinking probably Tarashi. Tarashi gives me top tier vibes because he's just fucking weird. He's mysterious. He's strange. He's a weird guy. We don't know much about him. He wears a fucking mask. He gives me top tier vibes. I'm sure you can understand. I think Muto is actually in top 5. I don't think Yumigahama could beat Muto. That guy is busted. Holy fuck, is Muto so hacks. Which leaves one more person. And I'm torn between either Dong Cheng or Lu Tian. Dong Cheng I still think will be very strong, and I still think that Dong Cheng could actually be the Tiger's vessel, which I'll get into in a second. The other alternative being Lu Tian, he's even more mysterious than Tarashi, maybe. I know he doesn't have the mask, but he literally hasn't said a fucking word. I don't think in the entire series, unless I'm forgetting. He may have spoken around when he was introduced in, like, chapter 32, I think? Maybe. I also think LeBanner may be an honorable mention. LeBanner may be pretty strong, too. I don't know if I'm overhyping Lu Tian, because we literally haven't seen anything from him, but his epithet is pretty badass, and he's a guy in a trench coat who doesn't talk, so, like, that gives you some vibes. But I guess LeBanner would also be a possibility. But out of the 4 that I can definitively, almost certainly say are probably stronger than Yumigahama, 4 out of the 5 people that beat Yumigahama, I would say Lolong, Tarashi, Muto, and Naidan. So, Dong Cheng still being the Tiger's vessel. Here's my line of thinking here. Just because Naidan is in the worm does not mean he's the Tiger's vessel. But you're thinking, didn't the Tiger's vessel say before the tournament that he would kill Gao Ryuki because he's like the last person that uses the Gao style? Yes, that was before they found out that Oma was still alive. Oma is the only other person that we know of that uses the Nico style. Now that sort of mixes things up, doesn't it? So, upon arriving at this tournament and seeing, holy fucking shit, Tokita Oma, the Tiger's vessel, quote unquote, I guess the fake Tiger's vessel, is still alive, the real quote unquote Tiger's vessel would be like, oh fuck, forget Ryuki, we need to kill Tokita Oma. So, if that is what's happening, Dong Cheng may still be the Tiger's vessel. Considering how close he and Naidan are, and how willy-nilly Naidan was with just pulling out the worm tattoo, I think it's very likely that they're both in the worm. And if Naidan is a red herring meant to trick us into thinking Dong Cheng is an actual red herring, then I think Dong Cheng is the Tiger's vessel. This chapter, for me, basically confirms it's either one of them. It's either Naidan or Dong Cheng who is the Tiger's vessel. Alright, now, my predictions for the match. There are three possible outcomes. 4, really. I mean, there are always 4 possible outcomes now. But I think 3 of them are more likely. First off, Naidan just beats Ryuki. Ryuki gets put into a similar situation like he was in with Akoya, and he decides not to kill Naidan, even though he's part of the worm, and he loses. This gets into my second theory, which is Naidan kills Ryuki, which is a possibility. Now, one of the main characters getting killed off would be a big fucking deal. Not to mention a Purgatory fighter killing his opponent, fully aware of how the Purgatory rules work, would create quite the shit show on the Purgatory team, now wouldn't it? So that may be interesting if that happens. The other possibility is that Ryuki gets forced into a situation similar to what he was in with Okoya, and he fucking kills Naidan. Because he decides, look, I've got no choice here. This guy's gonna kill me. He's part of the worm. He's gotta go. So he I don't know, maybe he uses the Earth Crouching Dragon, whatever the fuck it's called, and he kills the shit out of Naidan. Like, pierces him through the heart or something, who knows. Just explodes his heart, breaks the shit out of his neck, we'll see. That's one of the other likely possibilities. Then the fourth one, which I guess is the least likely in my mind, but also plausible. Kengan is known for its surprises, so I guess that makes it equally plausible to all the other ones, is that Ryuki has gotten really fucking good since being beaten by Okoya. And he's figured out how to fight to his full potential without having to kill people. I know his grandfather told him to only use that one technique, but in this situation he's like, you know what? It's the worm. It's a life or death situation. I'm going to use the other techniques. What are those other techniques? Fuck if I know. Maybe it's the Nico style. Or maybe it's just the completed Gao style, though that's apparently less advanced than the Nico style, since the Nico style was born from that, so, like, I mean, it would be worse than the Nico style, so who knows. We also have to consider that if Naidan is the Tiger's Vessel, he's going to be using Mongolian wrestling and the Nico style, which would be crazy. The closest we've seen to using the Nico style and something else at the same time was with Kiryu Setsuna, where he was using the Koei style and the Nico style at the same time, though he never really used the Nico style that much, just because the Koei style is busted hacks, so using the Nico style isn't really necessary for Setsuna. So we may be seeing some fucking crazy shit here with Naidan if he is the Tiger's Vessel using grappling and the Nico style. Because the Nico style is basically magic. I mean, yeah, I know it uses, like, redirecting kinetic energy or whatever, but shut the fuck up. It's martial arts magic, okay? He will be busted as fuck if he's the Tiger's Vessel. Also, this round, I get deathmatch vibes from this. Someone might fucking die in this match. More so than any of the other rounds so far, and probably more so than any other besides whatever fight Labanner and Okoya go up in. I think they could fight each other, and whatever fight Masaki goes up in, because we don't understand what's the difference between this Masaki, between Hayami Masaki, and Meguro Masaki. We don't know if they're a clone, or if he actually is his brother, because if he is a clone and they didn't get rid of the evil gene, then we may have a problem here. But the Tiger's Vessel wants to kill Gao Ryuki. If Naidan is the Tiger's Vessel, he's going to try and fucking kill him. With Ryuki, he doesn't think the worm are people. He's going around killing them, so he more likely than not will probably try to kill Naidan. Which may be less likely now due to his fight with Okoya and his interactions with Koga. We'll have to see. But if there's any fight where someone may die, this is one of the ones where it's pretty likely. So get ready for a fucking bloodbath here. So that's basically the meat of the chapter. You can understand why I felt the need to address this chapter as soon as humanly possible, because this is really important shit. Now, there's not much else really. The only other funny thing with this was Alan Wu being a dick. It seems like the Wu and the Kure have being a douchebag in their genetics, which is pretty funny. Yumigahama is conscious somehow. I gotta hand it to him. Him fucking thrashing around and screaming while having his face caved in is very impressive, if not funny. And the last thing is that the Purgatory fighters recognize the power of Kazi the Destroyer. It's really funny. It's really funny. We have Joroda talking about how he's the superpower behind the reins of the Kengan team, and that he shouldn't be trifled with. He's an incredibly talented person. I hope this inside joke for the series never dies, because it's really, really fucking funny. But yeah, I mean, that's really all there's left to say for this chapter. Apparently there's no breaklet next week. Sandrovich, Durimian, they have no breaks. They're just fucking going full speed ahead. So, I guess thanks to them for that. Not taking breaks between the most recent fights. I have to commend them for their endurance. Being a weekly manga author is very difficult. It's very draining. You get very little free time. So them not taking any breaks for the past several fights, it's pretty commendable. So I guess be grateful to them. But yeah, that's all I have to say for today. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I do Kengan Omega reviews every week. If you enjoy other series such as Record of Ragnarok, Jujutsu Kaisen, and Chainsaw Man, I do videos on those series as well. So if you're interested in those, you should definitely check out my channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell so that you don't miss any of my uploads. If you enjoy discussing Kengan Omega with other people, or you just enjoy the content I produce on my channel, I highly suggest you check out my Discord server. I have a link to it on my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you around.